Hey everyone! Today I'm going to talk about and show you one of the simplest ways to finish your wooden spoons and carvings called burnishing. So what burnishing does is it smooths and polishes the wood by compressing the fibers instead of pulling them up or cutting them away and removing material like with sanding. Now sanding definitely has its place, and we'll talk about it in another video coming up, so drop your comments and questions about sanding versus burnishing below. We'll see if I can answer them for you. With burnishing, the result is a subtle sheen, a smoother feel, and kind of a more finished look without losing crisp details in your piece. So today we're going to talk about what burnishing actually does, the simple tools that you could use, many of which already live in your house, and then take a look at a step-by-step method that you can follow to burnish your project right away. So what's actually happening here? So when you sand wood, you pull the fibers up and then remove material. When you burnish, you're pushing the fibers or the tiny wood fibers down flat, and that does a couple of things. It makes the surface smoother. It slightly hardens the surface too, which is great, especially with like bowls of spoons and stuff like that. And then compressing the fibers together can make the carving more resistant to things like odors and fluid. You can also help to bring out the look of the grain and then reduce if you have like a fuzzier texture with some soft or hairier texture kind of with the wood for some softer woods like basswood. For tools, how to do this or what to do this with rather, you probably have a lot of the tools for what you need to burnish a spoon, for example, lying around your house. So some of my favorite tools include items like the back of a spoon, a polished stone, or I use a gua sha tool. It's a tool that otherwise is used for like lymphatic drainage in your face or different parts of your body, to like sculpt your face and things. This is just an extra one that I had lying around, and I found that it works really perfectly, especially for spoons with little bowls and things like that. Or I've even seen videos with people using like a smooth piece of cardboard or leather even. But the key is your tool should be something that's hard, smooth, and then doesn't have like rough, sharp corners or edges and things like that. Nothing really abrasive either. For tighter areas like the bowl of a spoon, you might want a smaller rounded tool that works best, so something like this is actually perfect. You want to start with a clean carving and make sure the spoon is fully carved and free of major tool marks. So burnishing is not going to remove like deep cuts or anything like that. It's just going to enhance what's already there. When you're beginning to burnish, you're going to take your tool. So in this case, I'll use the gua sha tool. And you're going to firmly rub, so this is, maybe we'll try this one. This is the before, what that looks like before. I actually started on this one earlier, but this rest of the spoon hasn't been burnished quite yet. And you're going to take your tool and firmly just rub the tool along the surface. You want to use smooth, consistent strokes and then follow the grain when possible. So this one is why I chose this for this video. You can see the grain direction really easily. So I'm going to follow the grain and go this way instead of this way. And I'll give you a little view of what that looks like. You can already see the sheen there on the handle. If you compare that to the rest of the spoon, just kind of that glossy patina there versus the rest of the spoon here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the spoon. So I'm just rubbing back and forth with consistent pressure and making sure that if I see any areas that are kind of dull, that I'm addressing those. and kind of going back and forth on that area. I'm going to do the rest of the bowl, the back of the bowl here. You can really see if there are natural oils still in the wood. You can see them come out. It's really beautiful. This is a nice, this is a spoon that I carved out of a nice piece of black walnut. And so I did just one side of this spoon. So this side, you can see that sheen there, and then this side I didn't do it. You can see how it's a little more dull. So that's a little bit of what the finish looks like when you're burnishing your spoons. I'll go and finish off the rest of the back of this spoon. You can see it doesn't take very long. We're pretty much done with that back of that spoon there. Just looks a little more finished than before. This one here, so inside that spoon bowl, hasn't quite been fully burnished. So what I do with those, I put this part here in the bowl and I go back and forth like that. And for the edges, like the edge of the spoon here, you can set your spoon up against something hard and go like that. I really like to kind of use the edge of my tool here and go like that. Up to you. No real wrong way to do it as long as you're not damaging the spoon. Go ahead on this side too. And you'll see the spots that look a little more dull need a little more attention. You just need kind of a good light source. So this is now, see that I missed a little spot right there. And if you use something that's got sharp edges, you will dent your spoon, so you got to be really careful with that part. Otherwise, not a lot of ways to go wrong with this. There we go. A few more spots I gotta get in there, but you'll see the differences, like that little spot right there. This is the handle before, but that other part of the handle after. So you do that with your burnishing tool a couple of times. And you'll start to see the surface change, get kind of slicker, get almost silky, get shinier, things like that. You can spend extra time on like fuzzier spots, tight curves, etc. And then if you have a wood that does have a lot of natural oils in it, you can let the spoon dry, or if you use like a wet wood, let the spoon dry, oil it, let it dry, and then do it again. Some people might repeat this process a couple of times until they're happy with, with the way that it looks and the finish on it. It's really natural as it dries for it to lose some of the sheen because the oils are kind of drying and things like that. So you might feel a little bit of the texture come back and it loses that like silky feel. Then that's pretty normal. You might just need to repeat that process a couple more times and go over it again. Usually 1-2 passes is enough. So at this point, you can stop here. Or like I said, take one step further with a food safe oil. I use organic jojoba oil because it's what we have on hand. And then repeat until you're satisfied. So that's how I do that. Like I said, burnishing, it's one of those just simple steps that makes a huge difference in how finished your project looks and feels. If you try this, I'd love to hear how it goes and also see what you're carving. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. If you found this enjoyable or helpful in any way, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more carving content. I will see y'all in the next one.